It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, you know. I'm on the Morning Star Drive, you know.
Hey guys, how's it going? It is Monday, March 29th, and this is the Morning Star Drive on 117.8. We're on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe, follow us on SoundCloud, and support us on Patreon. So today we'll get some coronavirus updates, current news from around the world, and the Sunday sermon, the message about ask in the name of the Lord, and you will get granted whatever it is. All right, guys, so how was your weekend? I'm sure you guys were able to enjoy, have an amazing Sunday service, and also your Saturday must have been relaxing or nice, or I'm not sure what you did, but I'm sure it was good enough for you to catch fire from the Sunday message. And of course, it's back to Monday again, and we can restart another amazing week with the Lord. It is a week to ask in the name of the Lord. So guys, use it well. This entire week, all the things you need and want, just start asking in the name of the Lord, understanding the Lord clearly. So yeah, it's been a pretty amazing and crazy weekend for me too. Ever since last week for my YouTube channel, one of the big things that's just really shocking me is just one of these videos has gone viral already. And yesterday, I didn't check this morning, today, but I know last night it was at like almost over 11,000 views on this one video. And through this one video, there's like 400, 500 new subscribers and tons. It's just really interesting to see how this works. And I've been really enjoying it. But I need to ask in the name of the Lord this week, especially that this channel can grow even more, the newcomer channel I have. So we'll see what happens with that too. And I'm just really grateful and thankful for all of you guys here joining us here in the Morning Star Drive. Like and comment below. And we want to kind of hear how you guys are doing. Not kind of. We want to hear what you guys are doing. So make your requests, questions, whatever you guys want. Go ahead and just put them in the comments. Really thankful. But of course, the biggest help you will do for all of us, for this channel especially, is if you like and comment on the Espresso with Sky channel. And this week, or last Friday, we did a video on super successful people and what's the difference in the mindset and difference in their action. So it's a pretty good video. Go ahead and check that one out. And tomorrow night, we're going to have another Lab 78. It's going to be live again, guys. It's not going to be pre-recorded. It's going to be live. So come out and check out all the little mistakes that I make and all the different things that I could be saying a little bit better. So go ahead, come check that out tomorrow, Lab 78. I believe we're going to do it on adapting to new environment situations, me adapting to Malaysia, and then all my travels to like the 20-something countries. Oh, how different was it, right? So that's going to be tomorrow night. All right. So, what else do we have? We have a Sunday edition, guys. I already see a ton of people have been watching this. Paige Murray from America. She's from Georgia. Great interview. Really thankful for her time. She got some good stories. Get to see behind the scenes of the types of people that we have in this history and their stories with the Lord to get here. So go ahead and watch that one. That's Paige Murray from America. And also some shout outs I want to give for those big supporters over there on Patreon. We have like Dr. Joey in Malaysia. We have Nina in the UK. And of course, we have Manaka in Japan. So thank you for supporting us on Patreon. For just really believing and supporting in this channel. If you want to support us too, go ahead, check out the Patreon link in the description, or if you're on SoundCloud, click the blue button on the homepage. It is a crowdfunding site that you can support the Morning Star Drive at like just $3 a month, American dollars a month. Very, very cheap. And at the moment, we have lecture training videos on the site, Monday Bible studies, so go ahead and check that out too. The majority, I believe there's more than 90% of the people on supporting on that site, they're just supporting. Like they're not really asking for anything. They just want to support. So you can do either or. You don't have to check out anything. Don't feel pressure or anything like that too. All right. Monday, Open Bible Studies. We are on a 1-week break, which means that I will be using this time to work on some more things, but it'll start. Section 3 will begin next week. So those of you who are still interested can go ahead and sign up for that Section 3 for the Monday night Zoom Bible studies. All right. So it is already, it's Monday, guys. It's the end of March, as crazy as that sounds. By the end of this week, we're going to already be into April. So I hope you guys will really, really enjoy all the things that are going on here. And of course, We'll start off with today's featured artist of the day. Today's featured artist is from the Paper Music Associates over there in Korea. It's a kind of a rap group that was formed, a hip-hop group called Isomers, and we're going to hear one of their best songs. My favorite from them is called the LYL, or Live Your Life. After that, we have The Sky from Japan with Spring Emotion, and we'll end things off with the Sumney Boys from America with Partners in Crime. So guys, support these member artists from around the world, and let's make sure that we keep all of them, especially in our prayers.
남식의 마냥 부조신 자니 너희들의 폭음덕에 나듯이 애맨 드림 단계 난 주고 들어갈래 heaven 왜 스프링 자리 잡고 나도 구원받아 자본주의 돈 버는 마신의 이름으로 시리가 돼도 좋아 주머니만 채워줘 비꼬르 껌이라서 날 더 깨워줘 잠잠나 같은 나를 데리게라 쥐를 밟아주려 하니 또 연임이 오신 덕에 난 더 빠르게 될 수 있어 내 백천만 하는 그때니 5천만의 라이스길이 결국엔 많이 한 곳으로 모이지더니 머니더니 결국 답이 돈 없음 불행하지 너만큼 지루하지 비슷했건 그름대로 비가 되지 아버지만 아니에요 젊은 것도 포함이 저 비꼬는 거 아냐 비스크 찍다 미안해 I'm a lover yeah ever dream 죽었다면 꿈을 못 꾸지 네가 말한 생각이 또 틀린 거니 먼저 버린 왜 너만 계속하니 내 꿈 찾으러 왜 날이 올라가리 다투자 해도 야 외로워 또 미래 같이 가는 형들 기다리고 있음 알았으면 짐을 싸야 하지만 나를 많이 사랑 나는 꿈을 꿀 사람은 가는 곳이 하나 8살에 나침반 가슴 중앙에 팡 나는 아이언맨 모든 미래 드림 날 이걸 잊지 말아 뭘 하면 어때 시간 빠르게 해서 정신 차려 멈춰 네가 말했던 가난 네가 많이 있어 생겨나면 식 정도면 감사해 가
나 집어 던지고 fly away 고민의 시간 아깝게 누가 뭐래 Cause I'm on this like a child again yeah 눈을 떠보니 잊어버렸었지만 꿈에서 봤던 내가 아직 거기 있다면 take me there yeah
알람은 꺼져요 Why are you 안 달라 꿈속에서 꺼내와 사랑의 내 꿈 그래서 만날 거야 기다려봐도 난 널 보고 죽을래 시간이 빨라 놓치기 전에 뷰보름달이 펴에서 달려 I go like 꿈꾸도 waste my 말이 얼었잖아 내가 신발 봐 I want no city 당당하게 그럼 결국 날 날려 걸음의 생이 될 거야 내 기억 내 말 그럼 못 넘겨 드러난 그런 꿈꿔
난 네가 내게 기웃거리 바이 내 꿈에 눈이 멀어버리는 게 나 Just live your life, live your life oh, 다 집어던지고 fly away 뭘 고민의 시간 아깝게 누가 뭐래 Cause I'm on this like a child again yeah 눈을 떠보니 잊어버렸었지만 꿈에서 왔던 내가 아직 거기 있다면 take me there
りが別々の世界に分かれていても未だに信じているよ。春の雨に打たれて君の秋のかけら一つ寂しい気持ちこらえながら言葉でだけでいい。ただ忘れていないと澄んだ空が目の奥を突き刺している水面に映るあなたがいる世界に君の秋の雨ください。切ないほどに離れないまま言葉じゃなくていい。ただずっとずっとそばで
Don't worry if you get no signs, 'cause everything will be alright. Promise me you won't leave me in the dark. Yeah. You asked if I had no regrets. I smile 'cause I only feel blessed to be with you. This love will never go away. I'll stay by you until the end, 'cause we're partners in crime, like we're Bonnie and Clyde. And there's nothing that will get in our way, 'cause you're my only one. My heart will stay the same. Only one. I promise I won't change. Only one. My heart will stay the same. Only one. I promise I won't change. I want this feeling for the rest of my life. When we're together, I feel so alive. No matter what troubles we face, we will never lose our faith in our love. You asked if I had no regrets. I smile 'cause I only feel blessed to be with you. This love will never go away. I'll stay by you until the end, 'cause we're partners in crime, like we're Bonnie and Clyde. And there's nothing that will get in our way, 'cause you're my only one. My heart will stay the same. Only one. I promise I won't change. Only one. My heart will stay the same. Only one. I promise I won't change.
And that was the Summoning Boys over there from America, and with that song Partners in Crime. Before that was Spring Emotion from the Sky from Japan, and of course, last but not least, LYL, Isomers from Paper Music Associates in Korea. Hope you guys enjoyed that music from the member artists from around the world. So let's get into some news updates, things that have been happening over the weekend that we missed out on, and we're going to start with some of the coronavirus updates. Globally, 127.3 million cases and 2.7 million deaths at a 2.19% mortality rate, which is great. Okay. After this, the U.S. top 6 countries. Top 6 countries going by daily infection rates. U.S. has 30.9 million cases, 562,000 deaths at 1.82%. Brazil, big jump. I think it's like 0.03% jump, which is really high for this mortality rate to 2.49%. 12.4 million cases and 310,000 deaths. In India, 11.9 million cases, 161,000 deaths at 1.35%. France coming in fourth, 4.5 million cases, 94,000 deaths. So they're about to hit the 100,000 mark pretty soon, probably by the end of the week, and they're at 2.1%. Turkey, 3.1 million cases, 30,000 deaths at 0.97%. And then Poland rounds out the top 6 with 2.2 million cases, 51,000 deaths at 2.33%. Sweden, only country not to go into lockdown, drops down to 1.72% mortality rate. And Belgium down to 2.64%. So here we go. Let's take a look at the daily infection rates. And this is where we kind of get to see a little more of what's going on. Brazil has been on top for about 2 weeks now, 83,000 cases in a day. The U.S. is next with 63,000 cases. India right behind with 62. France with 42,000. Poland with 31. And then Turkey with 30,000 cases in a day. Looks like a big uptick in the average daily infection rate. Over here in Southeast Asia, Philippines is just getting worse over there, guys. It's 9,500 cases in a single day. And then Indonesia is like half of that with 4,400. And then Malaysia with 1,100 cases. So that's good news for Malaysia over here. Let's take a look at three updates, 3 top news in the world. And this one that's been going on for a while, I didn't know how severe this was until I started reading the news about this. This is all the way over there in Egypt in the Suez Canal. Okay, so there is a container ship that is wedged. Like it's one of those areas where it's a canal that is made so that you can easily export and import from like India, you're like Europe and China and India, right? So it's really, really necessary. Like basically, if you don't go through this canal, you're gonna have to take a boat 3,000 more miles, right? Which is like crazy. Okay, so there is this giant container ship. It's 400 meters long, guys. 400 meters. And it's stuck across Egypt's Suez Canal. There's been attempts for days to dislodge it on Saturday's high tide, right? So it failed. And the canal officials said, however, that some progress had been made, and they hoped the ship could be afloat again by Sunday evening. It's called the Ever Given. That's the name of the ship, and it's wedged in the canal. And it's one of the world's busiest trade routes. Okay, so since Tuesday, it's been wedged like this, and more than 300 ships are stuck on either side of the blockage. And this is supposed to be something like 12% of trade in the world is going through that canal, and $10 billion goes through that canal every single day. So, guys, if it's from Tuesday, it means we're gone almost like basically 7 days. 7 times 10 billion. It's $70 billion have been lost from this thing. Okay? 300 ships, guys, on either side of the blockage. So some vessels they are rerouting around Africa. Of course, that's supposed to be another like 3,000 nautical miles. So on Saturday, about 20,000 tons of sand was dredged and 14 tugboats pulled and pushed the Ever Given in order to try to dislodge it. Although strong tides and winds complicated efforts to free the ship, the tugboats managed to move it 30 degrees in 2 directions, right? So footage posted on Twitter appeared to show the tugboats honking their horns to celebrate the small victory. And of course, the chairman of the Suez Canal, his name is General Osama Rabi, he said the water had started running underneath the vessel. So they expect that any time the ship could slide and move from the spot it's in. And this was in a press conference. So he also had hoped that it wouldn't be necessary to remove any of the 18,300 containers on board that ship to lighten the load. 18,300 containers, guys. Canal authorities previously said they would send in more tugboats if Saturday's attempt failed. And like I said, it is a 400-meter long boat. This is bigger than this is much bigger than Noah's Ark, like more than 3 times bigger. As crazy as that sounds, it's 3 times bigger than Noah's Ark. It is a 200,000-ton vessel, right? And what happened was there were high winds and a sandstorm that affected visibility, and then it but got stuck into the sands on the side. And but they also said Mr. Raby also said that weather conditions were not the main reasons for the ship's grounding, and there may have been technical or human errors, right? And he didn't give much details, but all the factors will become apparent in the investigation. So the Ever Given is operated by a Taiwanese firm called Evergreen Marine and owned by someone in Japan. So the president of the company, called Shoei Kisen, said on Friday the ship did not appear to be damaged and the ship is not taking water. So once it refloats, it should be able to operate, right? So what is the backup plan? If digging the sand away and pulling the ship with tugboats fails to move it, then Mr. Raby said rescue teams might have to remove some containers to make it lighter. So John Demholm, president of the UK Chamber of Shipping, earlier told the BBC that transferring the cargo to another vessel or the canal bank would involve bringing in special equipment, including a crane that would need to stretch more than 200 feet high or 60 meters. So if they go through the process of lightening the ship, it's going to take weeks. So, guys, you need to know why the Suez Canal is important. Like I said, 12% of global trade passes through this 193-kilometer canal, which connects the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea and provides the shortest sea link between Asia and Europe. An alternative route around the Cape of Good Hope on the southern tip of Africa can take 2 weeks longer, according to data from Lloyd's List. The blockage is holding up an estimated $9.6 billion of goods each day. Or, if you want to hear how big it is $400 million an hour. That's how much is being stopped per hour. And it's been since Tuesday, guys. Last Tuesday. So, Mr. Raby also estimated that Egypt was losing about $14 million in revenue each day. The canal was closed. And he also said that Egypt was grateful to the U.S., China, and the UAE for offers to help. So that's what's going on over there. Big, remember, everything we're learning about here, we got to keep in mind that the whole purpose is to see what God is doing, what is happening in the world. And of course, everything is to help people realize that they should be trusting in God more than anything else, right? So that's what's happening over there in Egypt. So let's go over to Indonesia, right? And there's a place called Makassar, and there was an explosion. Where was it? It was at a Catholic church. So worshipers were wounded in an Indonesian church bombing. A suspected suicide bomb attack outside a Catholic church in the Indonesian city of Makassar has left at least 14 people wounded. So police said an explosion happened as 2 people tried to enter the church on Palm Sunday, the first day of Easter. They destroyed a motorbike and body parts were at the scene, but they had yet to be identified, police said. So militant Islamists have attacked the churches in the past, but no groups have yet said they were behind the bombing. So the religious affairs minister condemned the attack and urged police to increase security measures at places of worship. And he said that whatever the motive is, this attack cannot be justified by any religion because it only does harm to other people. So what do we know about the attack? The explosion happened at around 10:30 a.m. local time and at the end of service for Palm Sunday. And there were 2 people riding on a motorbike when the explosion happened at the main gate of the church. And the perpetrators were trying to enter the compound. This is what the national policeman said. And earlier, local police had said at least 1 bomber had died at the scene, and they have not confirmed if both attackers were killed. So a priest at the church told Metro TV that security guards had tackled 1 suspected bomber, and the attacker, he said, arrived by motorbike and tried to get into the church. And police said at least 14 people were injured, including the church officials who stopped the attackers from entering the grounds of the cathedral. And the blast happened by the church's side entrance, and footage from security cameras showed fire, smoke, and debris being blown into the middle of the road. Now, the mayor of Makassar said that if the explosion had happened at the main entrance, it could have led to far more casualties. So also the head of the Indonesian Council of Churches said the attack on people celebrating Palm Sunday was cruel, and he urged people to stay calm and trust the authorities. So churches have been targeted in the past by extremists in Indonesia, the world's biggest Muslim majority nation. In 2018, dozens of people were killed in bomb attacks on churches and a police headquarters in the port city of Surabaya. And police blamed an Islamic State-inspired network. In the Southeast Asian country, Indonesia has long struggled with Islamist militancy. And Indonesia's worst ever terror attack was in Bali in 2002, when 202 people, mostly foreigners, were killed in an attack on a tourist nightlife district. So that attack was carried out by another militant network and prompted a sustained crackdown on militants, right? So sad news there, guys. Catholic Church, there's a suicide bombing over there. Last but not least, we're going to go back into Myanmar. And it's kind of cool because Sunseem did talk about Myanmar yesterday when he was doing the Southeast Asia tour. So we'll talk a little bit about that later. So, we've heard about the Myanmar coup, and that was ever since February 1st. And basically, the U.S. is now horrified by the deadliest day since the military takeover. And the U.S. has said it is horrified by the killing of scores of anti-coup protesters in Myanmar on Saturday. So the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, accused the military of a reign of terror that was sacrificing the lives of the people to serve the few. Saturday was the deadliest day since last month's military takeover. The defense chiefs of a dozen nations, including the UK, on Sunday issued a rare joint statement condemning the military's violent actions. So it's the US, Japan, Australia, also among the signatories of a statement that said a professional military follows international standards for conduct and is responsible for protecting, not harming the people it serves. So the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said he was deeply shocked at the violence, and British Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab called it a new low. So the EU delegation of Myanmar said Saturday, officially, Armed Forces Day would stay engraved as a day of terror and dishonor, and mourners are expected to attend funeral processions across the country on Sunday. So the lethal crackdown against civilians, including children, came as protesters defied warnings and took to the streets in towns and cities. So the AAPP, which is the Assistance Association for Political Prisoners, monitoring group confirmed at least 91 deaths on Saturday. Local news site Myanmar Now put the death toll at 114, while the UN said it was receiving reports of scores killed and hundreds injured. So, if you look in Reuters and you look at the interviews, like people are saying they're killing us like birds or chickens, even in our own homes, right? So, but the people said they're going to protest regardless. So the latest violence took the number killed in the suppression of the protests in Myanmar since the 1st of February to more than 400 people have been killed. So the military seized control of the Southeast Asian country after an election, which Aung San Suu Kyi's National League for Democracy party won by a landslide. So what exactly happened on Saturday, guys? So the day started with a military show of strength, a parade and speech from the coup leader. And he said he wanted to safeguard democracy, but also warned against violent acts. So anti-coup activists had called for peaceful protests, but they soon turned violent as the security forces opened fire in more than 40 locations. So the commercial center, Yangon, saw dozens of deaths, but killings were recorded from Kachin in the north to all the way down to the far south. The military has not commented on the killings. So the director of the Burma Human Rights Network in the UK told the BBC the military had shown it had no limits and no principles. It was basically a massacre, right? It's not a crackdown anymore. It is a massacre. So violence also flared between the army and a leading armed ethnic group representing the Karen minority. The Karen National Union said it had overrun an army post near the Thai border, prompting an attack by military jets on the village that killed 3 people. And there has been rising tensions between the group and the military after years of relative peace. So what is the profile of Myanmar, if you guys want to know? It's also known as Burma. And it became independent from Britain in 1948. And for much of its modern history, it has been under military rule. Right? So restrictions began loosening from 2010 onwards, leading to free elections in 2015 and the installation of a government headed by veteran opposition leader Aung San Suu Kyi the following year. So in 2017, Myanmar's army responded to attacks on police by Rohingya militants with a deadly crackdown, driving more than 500,000 Rohingya Muslims across the border into Bangladesh in what the UN later called a textbook example of ethnic cleansing. So that's kind of what's going on over there, guys. Yeah, it's not getting any better over there in Myanmar. The deadliest weekend, the deadliest day, guys, it was 91 people killed in a single day. So we really need to pray for Myanmar. And we'll learn a little bit more what Sunseem said about Myanmar during the Southeast Asia tour a little bit later during the word study. All right, guys. So that means we're going to get into, of course, a little bit more of a spiritual time. So we're going to sing some songs together as one body of the Morning Star Drive. We're going to sing first Clap, Clap, Clap as one, to become united as one. Be eternally thankful is our second song. And then last but not least, we'll sing the song The Path of Love. So everyone, let's give glory and praise to the Holy Trinity.
Clap, clap, clap as one. Clap, clap, clap our hearts as one. to me, leading me with inspiration, and you intervene for me. I know I'm safe within your hands. You protected me from death. Now you are the reason that I live my life. Thank you eternally. Thank you for everything. Holy Trinity, you've kept me safe from harm. Now singing joyfully, I praise you gloriously. Holy Trinity, I'll give my life to you. When I heard your word, my Lord, oh, my spirit saw the light. Your condition of forgiveness surely brought me back to life. Evermore, you've set me free from eternal suffering. I am truly thankful for the love you've shown. Thank you eternally. Thank you for everything. Oh, my Lord, you saved my spirit and my soul. Now singing joyfully, I'll praise you gloriously, 'cause I'm truly thankful for your love, oh Lord. They have raised my spirit high and adored me as their bride. Brought me to the golden city, to the wedding held inside. Glory to the Trinity. They fulfill creation's will, and I thank the Savior for he raptured me. Thank you eternally. Thank you for everything. Holy Trinity, you've raptured me to you. Now singing joyfully, I'll praise you gloriously. I will surely rapture higher every day. Thank you eternally. Thank you for everything. Holy Trinity, you've raptured me to you. Now singing joyfully, I'll praise you gloriously. I will surely rapture higher every day. I will surely rapture higher every day. I will surely rapture higher every day.
Since I have come, you've come as well. And today we become one with God, one with the Spirit. We unite on this path of love. We must walk now and for all eternity. This path will never change. Hear the word flows without end.
proudly we go on, always for providence. Now and always hope will shine brighter than the sun. This eternal love and hope forever shines bright. Finally, this love of ours fulfilled God's will at last. The Lord our God's promises will not fail, they will stand without change, now and for all eternity. Finally, this love of ours fulfilled God's will at last. The Lord our God's promises will not fail, they will stand without change, now and for all eternity. Since I have come, you've come as well, and today we become one with God, one with the Spirit. We unite on this path of love we must walk, now and for all
And that was Path of Love. Yes, that song really reminds me of a wedding now because do you guys remember that interview I had with Jervine, right? DJ over there in the Philippines, and he used this song for his wedding. And when I was talking about the interview, he talked about this song. I was like, oh yeah, this song totally reminds me of a wedding now, which is also not a bad thing too, right? Especially in this wedding banquet history. Before that was Eternally Thankful, and of course, Clap, Clap, Clap as One. All right, guys. So it is time for the word study, and I know that a lot of people look forward to this too. A lot of amazing things happen on Sunday, especially here in Southeast Asia, Hong Kong, and Mongolia. Together, we had Sunseam's tour. So we did have some message after, and a lot of things were spoken. I really noticed a lot of the difference when I hear Sunseam speaking to Southeast Asia too, and he's very, very particular with the group that he's talking about, and it's really interesting to hear too. So either way, so let's go into the Sunday message. Great message once again, and this week is by Pastor Joan. I'm sure a lot of you guys were really inspired by it too. And of course, more than anything else, guys, it is about praying and asking for things in the name of the Lord. It really is. Asking for things in the name of the Lord, which is great and awesome, right? So what are we going to talk about? Asking for things in the name of the Lord. What does that mean? asking for things in the name of the Lord, right? It basically means that if you know who the Lord is, if you know clearly who the Lord is, ask, and if it is the will, it'll be given to you. And what does it mean by if it is the will? Well, there's several things that will go into this one that, we want to really think about. Like, it's not like a free blank check, like, God, give me $10 billion. No, it's not the will for that, guys. It's kind of ridiculous to ask for that type of thing. However, there are many things that are going to benefit and help the history of God and help you as an individual also. So I hope that we'll pray for these things and think about this week as almost like a blank check. As long as we're not going to be ridiculous and say, oh my gosh, God, I want to make movies. I've never done acting. I've never done anything else. And, you want to do something that's kind of, acting, actually, you could do at any age. So that's possible. But take a look at the things. Don't talk about winning the lottery and stuff like that, or, there's got to be some things that you got to pray about and see according to the will. So I hope that everyone this week, guys, this is the week. If you think of it, it is the week. Just start asking for things in the name of the Lord, in the name of the one that you have sent, that I truly believe in with all my heart, soul, mind, and strength, and I love him and I believe in this and this. Yes, I really want this to happen. Yes, this is something that we can really pray for this week, right? So if anything else, guys, if you're praying in the name of the Lord, one thing I do pray for is pray for my YouTube channels to kind of explode and grow, and I can see how see and learn more how these channels are growing and how they work. Okay, so that is that's like basically the key point. And the two key points is ask in the name of the Lord, and the second thing is you need to know the Lord clearly. Right? Those are the two things. Those are things that matter. Those two things. Because if you think about this too. What if it's like the president, everyone knows the president, but not many people know the president clearly. But what if someone who doesn't know just kind of uses the name? Oh, the president said I can do this, but you don't even know them, right? Then you can misuse the name, right? But if it's those that clearly know the Lord, the ones that clearly know the Lord are not going to ask for clearly ridiculous things. Makes sense, right? If you clearly know the Lord. So we have to be the ones realize and we have to know the Lord clearly, but we have to realize, one of the things I really like is the point that Pastor Joan gave about realize Jesus' time to realize our time right now, because they're parallel to each other, right? Because history repeats itself. And we see she went all throughout history from the very beginning, and she said, look, God is a spirit. He doesn't have a body, but he needs a body to work through. And all throughout history, he's been sending prophets and kings and judges. And it's always been the same way, where God has never come himself, right? And we have to realize it's the same thing too. Why does God send the Messiah? Why does God send Jesus? Why does God send the Lord, right? Because God is spirit and he needs a body. Right? And I loved the example of raising a tree, right? From the seed that you pour water and you give fertilizer and it grows, the roots grow deep and the tree grows bigger and bigger and bigger. And he says it's the same thing with with faith that happens to a human being. And the example is just perfect. And the seed of the word has to be planted into your brain. And if you keep putting watering it and you keep looking at more and more words and you keep planting it more deeply into your brains, the roots will come out and it changes the way you think and it changes the way you act. And when your actions and your thoughts change, then the next step is the word will start absorbing into your spirit. Right? So when you look at it, it's like, oh, that makes so much sense. And just the example of using that tree, it was really, really great example. So I was really happy about that too. I also like the point, it was really, really short video, the evolution of man, but it's something that we have to take into consideration because we all know that, Adam and Eve were not the first literal human beings on earth, but they were more of the first, not the first literal human beings, but the first spiritual, the ones that have a connection with God. And if you look at the Australopithecus, the Neanderthal, the Homo erectus, the Homo sapien, when the evolution of man, when you look at the evolution of man, what had to happen was during that time, even the brain was growing. Right? And we had to kind of develop that emotion and conscience and having the ability to believe, to really believe and understand God. And that took time, right? Until, most recently, we're talking at the Homo sapien level, the brain grew to a certain point and then human beings became ready to receive the words of God. And this is 6,000 years ago with Adam and Eve. And it's really, it makes so much, it's so reasonable when you think about this too. So that's something I was really, really happy and inspired about too. And I also liked when she cited Isaiah chapter 11, verse 1 and 2, when it talks about the tree, the branch that comes from the stump of Jesse, right? The tree will grow from the stump of Jesse. and that branch will bear fruit. And of course, this branch is talking about Jesus, but then verse 2 talks about the Spirit of the Lord will rest upon this person, right? So, one of the cool things that was said was the only way for the spiritual world and the physical world to connect was through the Messiah. And that's where this week's scripture of I am the way, the truth, and life. No one comes to the Father except through me, which is, yeah, it's true. It's only one way. It's through the Messiah, through the one that God sends. There is no other way, right? And if you want to connect the physical world to the spiritual world, the only way is through the Christ. So if you think about that, guys, that's pretty intense. That is crazy because there's only one person that can do it, which is the Messiah. So even there, I was like, whoa, that's pretty crazy. The other part I want to talk about today especially was the tour that's listening to Southeast Asia. I'm going to just tell you a general feeling that I had when I was listening to it, right? Because, a lot of people in other countries may not understand this, but it's not Southeast Asia is not like a Christian nation. They're not Christian nations, right? They're very pagan, and, they believe in idols and they worship like Buddha and stuff like that too, right? So when Sunsim was talking to everyone here, it was very interesting because of the way he explained things, right? Like he literally asked the question, how many people didn't even go to church or didn't even believe in God before coming to Providence? And the majority of the hands went up. Why? Because, from America, it'd be very easy, like very few would put their hands up. But here in Southeast Asia, the majority of the people are not Christian, right? So they're coming from blank slates and they're just learning about God and starting to believe, right? And they're coming from a non-religious background. And the only things that, they know are like Buddhism and Islam and these types of things. And Sunsim went even into discussing about reincarnation. And for us in like the Western countries, reincarnation is not even a big thing that people think about. We're not like struggling with it. But imagine you're coming from a place where everyone's Buddhist, right? Where a majority and a lot of people are not coming from a Christian background. And then it becomes very obvious, like, oh, that makes sense, right? It was perfect the way he spoke to Southeast Asia. It was. And one of the most inspiring things I heard, he talked about how, he says, making Wonmyeongdong, it wasn't that hard. And we're like, what? He's like, not that hard compared to. And we're like, what would Wonmyeongdong, you got to look at how crazy, amazing Wonmyeongdong is, right? Sorry, I'm getting a sip of tea. It's amazing that he made it. It took like decades, like over a decade, right? Like we're on 20 years now, okay? Now, here's the thing, or 30 years probably, because it started in like 1990-ish, right? Early 90s, like 92. So 92, 02, 12, it's 30 years, guys. So Sunsim's been like totally working on this for 30 years. But he said there's something harder than that. And, we're kind of like, oh, wonder what was harder than that. And he says, making people believe in who I am. He says, that is hard. Can you imagine? You got to think about that, guys. Imagine how hard that is. Imagine Jesus. He's the Messiah. And can you imagine how hard it is to make people believe that he is the Messiah? That is incredible if you think about that. Imagine how hard it is to make his family think that, right? His friend, I'm just like, yeah, that has got to be the most incredible thing. He's like, it was all done through the word, right? Talk about all the conditions he set for things to be like, for you to be able to ask in his name. And I was like, wow, that's really, I was really like, whoa, that's crazy. Yeah, imagine making someone believe in you as the one. I wouldn't even know where to start. And he then went into the pandemic. And of course, we're all, one of the big things that's happening in Southeast Asia is the coup that's happening in Myanmar. And Sunsi brought it up. And he said, yeah, I know about the coup in Myanmar. Right? But what he said was, remember, what's the point of the pandemic? The point of the pandemic is to get people to realize that it's about God. People should believe in God. They should trust in God. And what's happening all over the world. So guys, remember the news. What's the key point? Getting people to realize about God, right? They need to cling to God more than anything else. They got to cling to God, right? So he wants people to realize, even if it's torment, like this was in the message he was giving, even if it costs torment, because the most important thing is not so much about whether you suffer in this world. The biggest thing is whether you suffer in the afterlife for eternity. And this is why it's kind of justifiable when you think about the torment that happens here to make someone go through something good. Now, what does that mean to torment? Now, torment to us might be something that we think is very, very negative, but technically speaking, in order for us to raise children well or to help people to grow properly, they kind of need to be tormented for them to realize this is not the right way to live. I should turn to God, right? So I was really, really inspired by this too. And I really hope that as we listen to the news more and more each and every day, we will realize, that's it. Right? It's about people realizing about God more than anything else. So whatever country you're in, something actually said that only 2 out of 100 people really believe in God. And I think he's talking more about Southeast Asia. And then he said that people don't pray enough for their countries. So we should be praying for those countries. So I hope that all of us too can pray not only for our own country, but pray for other countries also, like Myanmar going through this just terrible coup right now. Okay, so that is today's word study for today. Hope you guys really enjoyed that, which means it brings us into the last music section for today. What's the last music section? The last song of choice for today is from Chicago, and this song is called The Glory of Love. I'm not sure if I played this recently, but I really, really love this song. It's from 1986, performed by Peter Cetera. Peter Cetera was once part of a group called Chicago, but he went solo, and this is I believe, the one song, the first of many that went to number 1. And this was from the, from the movie soundtrack of The Karate Kid Part 2. It's called Glory of Love.
Tonight it's very clear as we're both lying here. There's so many things I wanna say. I will always love you. I would never leave you alone. Sometimes I just forget, say things I might regret. It breaks my heart to see you crying. I don't wanna lose you. I could never make it alone.
And that was Peter Cetera with The Glory of Love from the Karate Kid Part 2 soundtrack. Hope you guys really enjoyed that. Brings you back to the old school way, to the mid-'80s. All right. So this brings us into the last section for today. It is Monday. A lot of thoughts going on, especially the last week. It's been almost a week since I let out that vlog last week that went viral, right? So we're already at over 11,000 views, maybe 12,000 by now. And it just really got me to think a lot because this was the advice coming from the YouTubers that were teaching us how to do this properly. And then the most interesting thing that I thought they kept telling me is like, you got one thing you really like to do, right? So I'm like, yeah, these talks, talking about the word or just, something a little bit more deeper. And then they said, you need to have like 2 viral videos a month. And those are the things that bring people to your channel so that they can take a look at your other things. And I wasn't really quite sure what that meant, like a viral video. Like I have no idea what that means. And there's 2 parts to it. There's the algorithm, which YouTube uses to get people, to send your videos out and suggest it to other people and such. But there's also what the people want to see, and those 2 go hand in hand. And being over here in Malaysia, I was able to figure out something that the people wanted to hear about. And it was quite interesting because going through this, I was able to see, oh, this is what brings and attracts people, and they'll come to my channel and then they'll see the other things that's in my channel too that I want to share with them. And it's quite interesting too, because in the past I was thinking that this would be like, if you took this to a church, it would be the exact same thing. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we'll do dance and we'll do this, and this, and if they like church, it's going to connect them to church, right? And it's quite interesting because this is kind of like the regular system that happens in the world. Like the YouTube channels that are successful all do this. They have the viral videos that tons of people just want to watch. And then they'll subscribe and they'll look into your channel and they'll see the other things too. And you get a good idea to see what people want to see. So I was looking at that like, oh, that's quite interesting that, this camouflage, when we talk about camouflage evangelism, it's like, you're hiding something. But I think the thing that's not hiding is, like in this instant, is you do have something that goes up, people come to watch, and if they like it, they like it, they don't, they don't. They'll watch more, they won't watch more, and this is really up to them. But we're not hiding anything. Like, this is my channel, and I have different parts to my channel. One is vlogs, one is a live show, and of course one is going to be one is also going to be, what do you call it? Oh, what is also going to be my talks, right? So it's really interesting to see that this is actually something that's normally happening in the world. What is like camouflage is when you don't tell them you're a church. But if we're like, hey guys, we're a church, but we're doing these dance programs, and people already know flat out it's a church, right? There's no camouflage, there's no hiding there. Right? Oh, we're just here to play basketball. But if you're like an actual church program where you have to pray, like I remember even when I was in Vancouver, going to church over there, like in the former faith, a very interesting thing was we would have these Christian basketball tournaments. Just the fact that it says Christian basketball tournament, it allows everyone to see it is not real. It's like not real. What I'm saying is there's nothing to be hidden. It is a Christian basketball association, right? So people coming into it, they had nothing to say, oh, I didn't know, right? And I think it's something that we really have to start opening ourselves up to is, like we are religious, right? And that's something we have to talk first. And I think eventually it's going to get to the point where we have to really say everything. Like, hey, this is our church. This is who we are, right? Take it or leave it, right? Like Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses, like none of them are saying like, oh, well, we're kind of not really, okay, maybe. They're straight up, hey, we're Jehovah's Witnesses. Look, I'm wearing a tie, black tie with a white shirt, and that's the Mormons, right? Hey, I'm doing this. Yeah, if you think about it, they're very, very open about it, and no one cares, right? People only care when you hide. And I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, it's kind of interesting, like just looking at the way that the channels work, it's very, very interesting because they need something viral. They do. They really need something viral that kind of extends you out to everyone else. And I'm going to tell you this one video, what it's done to my channel. This one video, like all my analytics are shooting through the roof by like 500%. 500%, guys. That's how much it's going through the roof. All my analytics across the board, it's like something's going on. And now it's about me maintaining it. And that's, this is what we have to start thinking about more and more. How do I maintain these types of things? Okay. So that's quite interesting. And I hope it's something that we can really understand when it comes to us in evangelism, and when it comes to us in sharing the gospel. There's nothing hidden, right? There's nothing camouflaged. It's all about being truthful and honest and sharing the gospel with people and inviting people out to certain things. And I started a cafe hopping club here in Malaysia, met a lot of good new people. And the interesting thing is, in the end, what happens? Right? They know I'm a pastor. Everyone knows I'm a pastor. Everyone knows I'm a missionary. So they're not freaking out like, oh my gosh, you didn't tell me you're a pastor. No, I tell them from the beginning, oh, I'm a pastor. I do this, and this, right? So, even on my YouTube channel, people will call me Pastor Sky. So it's something that I look at and say, oh, okay, this is quite interesting. And I find it quite, it's quite interesting to see how the world works. It's like the things Sunstein talks about are not like, wait, this is different, something's wrong here. It's nothing like that at all. So I hope that all of us here too can see how we can. It's just so amazing what we are doing. It's just a lot of times we have made it worse. And what I mean is, we're the ones that like absolutely just start hiding everything. Like we're not even a church and stuff like that. So. I hope that we can start thinking about how we can start opening ourselves up a little bit easier and better too when it comes to the future and evangelism in this history. Okay, so guys, that is the end of today's kind of thoughts for the week. I hope you guys have an amazing day. It is Monday, so enjoy this first day, even though it's really hard on the Mondays. But enjoy it. The first day is the best day, right? It's the day that you can actually put the words into action. So I hope that everyone have an amazing week, and don't forget to request things in the name of the Lord. All right, guys, everyone have an amazing day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow on the Morning Star Drive on 117.8.
It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and feel your mind.
I'm burning with